Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Another episode of Project 1 Ton. This video gonna work on pulling the dents out of the back of the cab using a mow clamp. Alright, so some of you might not know what a mow clamp is. Well, it's basically a continuously tightening clamp used for pulling severe dents, unistructure or the unibody type damage, anywhere there's a flange that you can clamp onto. Let me show you here on the truck an example of that. For say this flange here on the rocker, for say this was hit and buckled in, you could clamp onto that flange with the mow clamp and pull that out. So let me show you how that works. Okay, I just mentioned that it is a continuously tightening clamp. So what we have here, it is a clamp, obviously. We have the business end of the operation. We have diamond cut teeth on the business end of the clamp, and a pivoting point and a pulling point. This has a second pulling point, this ring up here. I'll be taking that off. I won't be needing to use it. So the idea here is I'm going to use this sheet metal as a demonstration. This could be a flange or a series of weld pins or a piece of structure in the vehicle. Put it in between the jaws and tighten down the pivoting point, which is this bolt. Okay, now of course I'm going to need a wrench to actually do this on the vehicle. Once the material is clamped into the mow clamp, this is the pulling ring on the back, and you can see here the clamp is tapered, comes down to a taper here to this point, and this has a round rod in the middle of the pulling ring. Some of them have a ball, other ones a taper wedge. The idea here, as you pull this down, it pulls down into the taper, and therefore pressure is applied here trying to open this up, and then at the same time, because this is the pivot point, the jaws are trying to close against the material. So it's always trying to bite into the material as you're pulling out the dent. So the idea here is that it will never let go while you're using it. Now, I've run a string down the back of the cab. I'm trying to get a good shot here for you guys. You can see, hopefully, how much of a buckle there is in the back of this cab. Like, I can put my hand between the string and the back here. It is buckled in so much. Now the problem is, it's not just a skin on the outside. You can see there's spot welds here. There is a structural rib running all the way along here on the inside as well. So probably going to need to be able to apply pressure with the mow clamp on some fins that I'll weld onto these major dents right here. That seems to be the major section right here below the window. With any luck, it won't blow the back window out. And apply pressure on this side, and possibly have to get on the inside as well and hammer that inside structure back to straight. Okay, it's pretty simple. Ground off the major dented area, welded on some fins of scrap metal, got the mow clamp attached, a quick snap on there, heavy duty one, piece of chain, another quick snap, a metal pipe with another piece of chain welded to it. So now I step back, I have a pulling bar attached to the mow clamp, which is attached to the dent. Okay, so before I go any further, put my string line back across there, see how that did. Probably just have to move up to the next one. Okay, so got the string line back up here. Definitely has moved this out, but the structure, that inner structure, is definitely the problem. It's spot welded here all the way along, and there's also a flange behind this window that it is spot welded too. So this big section here is a structure. So looks like I'm gonna have to get some of this pulled out a little bit here, possibly drill a hole right through around this area somewhere in the center, and maybe run a couple of bolts through, and then weld a piece of 18 gauge to a couple of bolts, and then hook onto it with the puller and see if I can pull that whole structure out as one piece. Now, I've said this time and time again in my videos, you sometimes just make do with what you've got. So, drilled 2 3/8 holes through the back of the reinforcer below the window. Okay, 3/8 bolts, some good sized washers. Now, over here, you guys are gonna love this. They stick out. I welded a plate on. I used the mold clamp to clamp onto the plate. I've got my chain running back to my bar, which is wedged in that mount, and I needed more leverage, so now I have a come along attached to the end of the pipe going down to the trailer hitch. And here's the thing, let's have a look, guys. Here's the string line. I'm about within probably less than 1/4 of an inch now. I'm gonna have to pull this out farther so that when I release it, it goes back to where it's supposed to be. So just gotta put a little more pressure on, and this should be fairly straight. Okay, so looking down my string line here, now look, see, the apparatus is now collapsed. We look down the string line, and yeah, that cab couldn't possibly be any straighter. So now these other little dents, they'll be easier to pull out. I'll be able to put a pin welder on that because that's just the outer sheet metal. It was the structure holding everything back. So as you can see, for a job like this, you need a mold clamp. So thanks for watching, guys. I can continue to clean up the back of this cab and get it ready for paint. So till the next one, guys, as always, peace.